All right, guys, I'm giving myself a challenge. Can I stick to these 5 knives, one knife a week for the next 5 weeks? There's no rhyme or reason for me doing this. I like swapping out my blades and, carrying something new or carrying the same one for a week, month, 2 months on end, whatever the case is. Something I just want to do to kind of mix things up a little bit and make sure I am carrying things that I don't normally carry. Because a lot of the knives in my collection don't get enough love. So I'm going to break down each one, go over do a quick overview and why I chose that one to go into this 5 week collection. So let's get into it. All right, so first up, and in no particular order, we have the Benchmade Barrage. This one this one had to come into the 5 week collection because this one has a lot of special meaning to me. This is my very first Benchmade, my very first good knife that I spent more than 50 bucks on. And I've had this thing since 2013. So coming up on 13 years, actually next month. So next month, I will have had this knife for 13 years. And I bought it when I was stationed in California. Um, Benchmade kind of set up a little, not kiosk, but a showcase display up at the base exchange. And they had some killer deals. Well, at the time, I didn't think it was a killer deal, but my buddy that I worked in the cargo warehouse with talked me into it. He's like, man, you got to get a Benchmade. They're the best in the knife game. They've got a great warranty. They'll sharpen it up for free anytime you need it. And I was like, man, 90 bucks, which is what I paid at the time between the sale and the deal they had going on. It's like 90 bucks is a lot of money for a knife. I was like, but I trust your word. I'll take you for it. I think at the time he had actually been carrying a Benchmade Infidel. And I was like, it's a pretty sweet knife. I'll take a look at them. This is the one I ended up on, which is funny because after I got into knives more, I don't really prefer serrations. And at the time, I was not a big Tonto fan. I just thought this was a cool looking knife. But as I got into knives more, my taste developed, changed. But this knife will always have a special place in my heart. So, as you can see, 154 cm, it's an Osborne design, assisted with the axis lock, the standard long Benchmade clip, and just a really solid overall knife. So I want to get back into carrying this because I carried this for several years after I bought it. Because that, like I said, that was before I really got into knives a whole lot. So I would say I've always been into knives, but before I really, really got into collecting them. So this knife was super important to me, and it has taken a beating over the last 13 years, especially those first 3 or 4. This was in my pocket every day. It was ripping through, I mean, really a lot working in cargo at the time, cutting through boxes, straps. I used it as a pry tool a couple of times, had to get a new tip grinded onto it. But Benchmade was nice enough to do that for me. So this is, like I said, this one was an obvious choice for me because this is my roots of my love for knives. It just made sense. So this is going to be one of the 5 knives that I carry over the next 5 weeks. So next up, we will get into the Ozark Trail Saunders. So this one, I went back and forth between my bug out and this one. Essentially, that was kind of the big mesh up. Was this is the bug out killer, right? It's the affordable bug out from Walmart. And it really is a great knife for the price of $15 or $12, whatever the heck it was. I mean, you get it's plastic scales, but you get a crossbar lock, you get a deep carry pocket clip, you get D2 steel, thumb stud deployment, and this thing is really, like, really smooth straight out of the packaging. I won't say straight out of the box because it didn't come in one, but straight out of the packaging, this thing was super smooth. There was no issues. There's no lock stick. Like for the 10 bucks that it was, this is a great knife. And so I didn't want to have 2 Benchmades, and the bug out I carried for a long time, especially after I got it. So I wanted to go with something that I have not carried a whole lot and doesn't get as much love as it should. And there's a lot of knives in my collection that can fall in that category. But this one, I really wanted to put it to the test, especially my nephew. One of my nephews has the orange scaled one, and he just like he uses it for everything. He puts that thing through the ringer and it still holds up. So I mean, I paid $10 because I bought into the hype, but I haven't carried it enough to really see what it can go through. So that is why this is going to be knife number 2, and we'll see what it does. So that is the Ozark Trail Saunders. Then next up, let's grab one of the fixed blades. All right, if you've been watching any of my recent videos, you're probably wondering why I'm throwing this one in here, because I've been carrying it nonstop since I got it. And this is my newest knife, and the Bradford Guardian 3 has been awesome. And I strictly threw this one in there because I am still in that honeymoon phase with this new knife, and I just can't put it down. So this will probably be the last one that I carry in the rotation, just because I want to get some pocket time with the other knives. But ultimately, I want to go back to carrying this. So this one is very obvious for me as to why it's going in the 5-week rotation, because I can't get enough of it. Like I said, I'm hoping if I swap through some other knives for a little bit, that'll kind of help keep that spark alive and not wear off the honeymoon phase so fast. So Bradford Guardian 3 will be one of the 5 knives in this challenge that I've given myself. Then 4th knife is the Vosteed Mink, and this is actually somewhat of a newer knife too. I got this for Christmas this past year, and instantly, like, it's such a cool knife. Very tactical looking. The G10 scales on it are great, very grippy, no real hot spots. Get a good grip on it. And the 14C28 in steel, not first knife. That was the Civivi Yonder, but first fixed blade with that steel, and it's been awesome. I mean, it has stayed very sharp. It tore through every single box on Christmas, breaking it down and throwing it in the recycling can. So that was exciting and fun. But I just like the overall look and feel of this knife. I mean, it really is very solid, very firm in the hands. Got a full hand grip on it. And I really love that color combo with the tan and the gray blade. Like, just looks like a really sweet knife. And so I enjoyed carrying this. I didn't carry it as much as I wanted to because I felt like, especially at work, where I work, being more of an office setting, and I am on the road a lot and travel, it just seemed a little unnecessary to be dangling this from my belt at work every day. But that was just me being weird about it, because I had no problems carrying this since I've got it to work. So I want to go back to another fixed blade as well. So I think this is the right one to go with, because I love this knife. And every time I get it in my hands and I pull it out, I just remember and realize what a great feeling overall knife this is. And that blade shape is awesome. The drop point with the jimping on there, can't really go wrong with this. And I would definitely recommend this to anyone that wants to EDC a fixed blade. So that is number 4. And last but not least is the Boker Trapper. So this one has the rosewood on it. D2 steel. And this one, I've had to throw a slip joint in there. A classic style knife. The other day, I carried this one in conjunction with my Bradford Guardian. Really is a great knife. I like the classic feel of it, and every once in a while I get nostalgic and want to carry a slip joint, carry, an old school, old timers knife, and that I couldn't pick a better one. I don't have a whole lot of slip joints to pick from, to begin with, but this one was definitely, this one and the Guardian, or I'm sorry, not the Guardian, this one and the Barrage were 2 obvious choices for me, for the reasons I explained on the Barrage. But then for this one, because like I said, I want to get more pocket time with a classic knife like this. And I have been looking at some more slip joints recently. I've seen a lot of cool things about the Case Sod Buster. or the Sodbuster Junior that I've been looking into. But in the meantime, while I, get used to carrying a slip joint, this will be the one that I pick. And I think for the most part, it'll probably just go in my pocket, but at work or in my uniform, I've got a little leather slip that can go right on my belt, and I'll put it in there. So that'll probably be how I carry that in uniform at work, and then anything outside of that will just slip right into my pocket. So that is knife number 5. Now is just deciding what order. Order is not super important, but like I said, the Guardian will be the last one. Let's see. I think honestly, I'm gonna go with the Barrage for my first week of carry. So starting on Sunday, which is Mother's Day, don't forget. Starting on Sunday through that Saturday, I think I'm gonna start with the Barrage first because this was my first real good knife that got me into them. So it seems only appropriate that I start out with that one. Then from there, I think when I get back, because I will be on the road for that first week, so that'll be going with me. Then I think when I get back, we'll go with the Bastide Mink. Then from there, I think right in the middle of the challenge, we'll do the classic slip joint with the Boker Trapper. After that, we'll move on to the Ozark Trail Saunders. This one I'm excited to carry and interested to see how well it does with, overall EDC task. I think it's going to do just fine, but I want to put some real work into it as well. Whether it's out in the yard or out on the road, who knows where I'll be in a month from now when I'm carrying this one, but I'm excited to get some pocket time with that and put it to real work. So, and then we'll finish off with, my newest and probably one of the coolest fixed blades I've ever owned, the Bradford Guardian 3. So that is the order. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think of this setup? What do you think of this, this collection? And is that something you guys would try? Is, picking a dedicated knife each week? Again, there's no rhyme or reason for me doing this. It's strictly because I get bored. I want to make sure I swap out my knives, but also get some pocket time with knives that I don't carry a whole lot. These 4 in particular, because I cannot remember, other than, a couple days ago when I threw this in my pocket, I cannot remember the last time I really carried and used these for more than just a day, especially these 2. It has been a long time since I've carried this one, and I really only carried the Saunders for, I don't know, a couple of days after I bought it. So this is the lineup. Flashlight will probably stay the same. It's still been the Streamlight Micro Stream, which has been pretty cool. I've enjoyed it since I got the tail switch figured out. I had a short on that the other day, so go check that out with my couple complaints on this, but overall a great flashlight. And I think that's it. So let me know in the comments what knives you would swap out. Which one is your favorite out of this collection? That the one you would most likely carry. And I'll keep y'all updated as we go through this. So week number 1, starting Sunday, going to be the Benchmade Barrage. So I'm excited to get this back in my pocket, force myself to carry it, not get distracted, not ADHD out, and swap knives halfway through the day or halfway through the week. Gonna force myself to stick to this, and then we'll see how this goes. But maybe afterwards, I'll pick another 5 knives and just keep it going until I get through all my knives. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Really appreciate you watching. Would love to hear from you guys in the comments on what your favorite knife is, what you think about doing a challenge like this, and I'll keep you all updated. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.